Okay, it's your boy Kamal Hart on the chart, and we're going bar by bar to start off pre-market. We can see that there's a range. Prices are above and below the EMA. So I have them something like there. Really looking for a sort of bounce off this side if we get the right setup. Um, Starting to get a bounce there, but that's a doji signal bar. That's not going to be useful for what we need. And as we get this break outside, this is a just kind of a first entry, but the second entry off the highs can't really be counted because we have so many lower highs. So you'd have to wait on a high or low in this situation. It doesn't really come on that next bar. It breaks above, then reverses, so can't really use that. This almost works as a breakout pullback though. So as I see all those lower highs, maybe I'm looking for something like that off those highs, and then when I drag that down to the bottom, when I drag that down, maybe there's something off there. And if we continue lower like we did here, my next target is going to be taking the range and making an equidistant line. So maybe my target would be down there if this range expands, something like that. So really gonna try to short it on the way down if we can, and then see about buying if it gets here. So we can see how that is starting to get outside of our trend line. Let's maybe move this to the outside there. Now we get that bounce. That's good. And right there, there's some congestion going on. Right there. So I'm seeing that. Might play it just to start on the right side. I really, during the session, I really wanted to get this pull back and then get in short and then try to swing it to the touch or to the lows. I can't take that setup yet though. See how you can see how we're going sideways. That's good. If we can get up here, we're going to try to go short. Here's the second entry, but that's too low on the congestion. That's not going to work. And it shoots off, but can't go short right there. Doesn't make sense. Right here, you kind of have a like a failed second entry long off this high, first entry, second entry, but that's right into this trend line. We're not really off that EMA at all. We're expecting a touch down here, but not the place to really go short. So you have to wait that one out. See, it doesn't go far. It would have ticked you out. And then right here, you kind of get that second entry short off this low. First entry, second entry. Once we tick below, I'm down to go short there. And if you look at it, there's some congestion right through those bars. So it's kind of like a breakout. And now we're looking for a fade. And then, on this particular setup, it ticks below and then kind of gives you a reversal pattern. So you would have been stopped out of that one. So with the reversal pattern, not necessarily looking for longs. With this trend line working down, this might be our first breakout. So we want to see a breakout, retest, and maybe we'll go lower. And Kind of get that first entry right there. And then see right here, you get the reversal pattern. This might actually be what takes us lower. So I'm interested in this one. That one shoots off. That would have been an easy one. And, you know, such a small bar on this trade, you wouldn't have lost much. And then you made it back right here. Pretty easy. See how we get that nice bounce? That's a good sign. And at this point, you kind of have that trend channel, break outside, move to a new low. So we're looking to buy off this line. Push lower. It's too risky going short through here, so I'm just waiting. Waiting for a higher low, reversal pattern, anything like that. So we get pushed down. Now we're back on this EMA. Here's the higher low, but the that signal bar is an inside bar. It's not a good setup. Gotta wait. And then here you get the failed second entry, but it closes back inside of this original bar, so it doesn't look as good. When I was trading it, the signal bars were actually a lot different. Like this setup didn't occur when I was trading the session, and this setup was actually like it was like a failed break lower with a nice bull reversal bar. So I would have bought that earlier, but if this is the first time you're seeing the setup, if I bought this, I'm probably thinking about exiting, and it works, but because it closes back inside, I might have scratched that. But it works, so just unfortunate on that setup. That sometimes when you refresh your data, you just don't get the same setup. But since this ticked lower, this swing is lower than that swing. This is your higher low, and a higher low at the near the lows of the range isn't a bad setup. So this is a pretty good signal bar. I consider going long there. We didn't get the break above yet. We need a break above. We don't get it until there. Not as good of a signal bar by that point, but you can still see we're above the EMA. Just coming to test this high. You test that high, no problem. Then right here you get a failed second entry off this low. First entry fails, the second entry fails. So I want to go long there as well. That's a blue check. It's a little sideways, but that's the right place. And really, you just want to buy this and maybe try to swing it to the midline, and then best case scenario, swing it to this high side. So I'd buy that. You don't have the scalp yet, but you can see how everything is on the EMA and it's holding. So I would look from this low and see maybe prices are going to hold. See if that line holds prices. Fits pretty decent on the highs as well. Starting to get that push higher, and then you get the push there, so that's a good look. Off this triple bottom, that's the higher low. I'm not too into that. Still gonna wait it out. Then here you get another sort of lip. I like this a lot better than this one. It's off the EMA, off these lows. That's a failed second entry. It's a little aggressive though. So we gotta let that one play out. So as it now you're getting that sort of like breakout pattern, which it's fine. And then like here's like another example of when you refresh your data, the setups aren't as nice as it was during the session. During the session, this was another one of like kind of like this bar. Just a nice reversal bar, second entry long, but this setup is, you know, it's not the same setup. So if you had the bar that I had earlier in the day, I would have bought for sure. If this is what you got, then I probably would have skipped it, unfortunately. So that shoots off. Now you get a pullback, and you see how you have a breakout side move to a new high. So I'm at least going to respect this line. Just make sure I'm patient and let it play out before I try to get long again or something. And so it's starting to creep up above that EMA, so maybe there's another smaller range through here. That's the first entry. If we get the reversal pattern, we're gonna go long. So right here, once we break above, that's gonna be a place to go long. So I'd go long right above that bar. And then give this a line. Something like that. So that'd be my channel working higher. And that one's another pretty good one that takes off. So as we get to that midline, we got to be patient because we don't really want to buy on this side of the range. So we need really strong setups, or we need to wait for prices to pull back or get to this side and start shorting it. So as we wait, you can see it's kind of sideways inside of that bar, and it's inside of that bar. So just gotta be a little careful. That's the first entry right there. Doesn't do much. Then right here you get a second entry long. If this is our congestion area, you're kind of at the lows of that congestion area. It's a little risky being this close to the EMA, but notice you're on the lower side and you have space to get out before these highs. So if you're being aggressive, you might buy that, but I'd probably skip it, and you go pretty much just enough to the other side, not much more. So we get some rejection off this midline, and here's where it gets tricky because um, it seems like we're stuck on the lower side of the range, but we would expect it to come up to this high side. So we're going to use our short-term trend lines to just keep us on the right side. And at this point, there's a break on the top side, but that's not particularly convincing. And even on this lower side, there's a break there, but that's not really convincing either. So we're going to let this be our actual breakout, and we're going to see what happens. And so like right here, if we break below, that's a reversal pattern, and that might mean we're headed to the other side, back to the low side of the range. See there? Now, given the context, like I said, it kind of looks like this midline is the new range. I would say it's kind of aggressive to go short because you're on the lower side of the range, but given the context, you might risk it. Typically, I would say this is maybe a little too aggressive, but in today's context, you might think about it. I'll go short there. That one, that's another one that just shoots off for whatever reason. And then so right here, this is kind of a first entry to the low. So we gotta wait. Engulfing bar, nice signal bar, but no, it's not the one. And now we're for sure, whether this midline becomes our new range, now we're for sure in the middle of this section. So a lot of these trades are trades I'm going to skip until we get back to my lows or back to these highs. So I'm not really paying any mind to any of these trades until we get back to our lower line. Just to emphasize the kind of sideways movement on this this middle region. Just get just a few lines down. And you can see like right here, that's a second entry long to that high. But like I said, I'm not really into taking these trades. But you see how that one would have worked pretty well. If you're just super desperate, that could have worked for you. And so you get the breakout right there. That's a second entry short off this low. First entry, second entry short, and you're just trying to trade it back into the range. But once again, those aren't the trades I'm looking for. It doesn't go that far either. See, just completely sideways. I'm just sitting on my hands really during this. Let me see if we can make this longer. Probably, really it could be even down here. So I don't like, it doesn't look as good on the high side. So I'll bring it to the high side like that. I'll just bring this down just a little bit, maybe one more tick, something like there. That's probably close to our little internal range or something. Push lower, that's a good look. That's just the first entry, so we're gonna wait. There, that pullback. There was a second entry right there, like when I was trading earlier. This was a really nice signal bar, but as you can see, it's gone. But there's a second entry right above this red bar when it breaks above from this high. First entry, second entry. It's at the lows, but that setup doesn't look the same. Gotta push outside. See how once again we got to the highs and just once again, off this high, that's a second entry short. First entry, second entry. Could have wrote that back to the EMA. Maybe a little more. You get that. Push lower. See, here's like a failed second entry long, but you're right at these lows. That's not the trade. None of these trades really I'm into. And I'm actually in the central time zone today, so at 2 o'clock, I would have called it a day. So pretty much this ends up being our last trade, which, it kind of sucks because there are some trades you might consider taking in here. Once you get your lines, I think a decent rule of thumb is if there's enough room to scalp out and you have valid lines on your chart, I would play the lines. But if you had taken any of these trades earlier, these were much better trades than per se taking, like, this is for sure a trade that I saw, that one. And then like I said, the signal bar on this chart looks terrible, but when I saw it this morning, it was really nice. I would have for sure taken that trade. Those are the two maybe trades you could have taken in the afternoon, but after 10:30, it just was going sideways, and I don't want to risk it too much going sideways in the middle of a range that we're not even sure what's going on. If this is actually the midline or this is the new high line or something. So I would have been done. But the moves you got, other than this first one, and there's maybe some reasons you wouldn't have taken it, but it wasn't a big loss. The next trade completely gave you what you needed, and then the next few trades, put you way up. So I wouldn't have stressed it much. Good trades, not a bunch of trades, but the ones that we saw were pretty decent today. So That's cool. I'm gonna get out of here. There's a lot going on again with Iran, so tomorrow probably is gonna be pretty interesting. Just try to stay on the right side of the markets and get your stop loss on there in case. Because Trump will be talking tomorrow, so once he talks, I'm sure that's gonna add some volatility into the market. So just be careful with that. And man, that's a wrap. Bar by bar, Kamal Hart. I am out. See y'all.